Hi Year 9s, today we're going to be learning about the quadratic formula. This is going to relate to part 5I of your textbook. When I say the quadratic formula, this is what I mean. Yes, it looks a little bit scary, but it's not actually too bad when I break it down. First of all, let's look at why we need the quadratic formula. When you see an equation and you have no idea how to factorize it, this is what you're going to turn to. You're stuck, you've tried multiple options, we're going to use this formula. It's going to help us determine what x equals. Do you remember this equation here? Ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. This should be somewhat familiar to you by now. If you notice, the equation above, the quadratic formula, is in the terms of b, a and c. Where do we get them from? We get them from here. So, the number in front of x squared is a. The number in front of x is b, which is in here. And c is also in the quadratic formula. So when you see an equation, we're simply going to substitute the values for a, b and c into the formula. Not so bad, hey? But before we delve into some questions, we're going to have a look at some handy hints this formula provides us. This part here, the square root of b squared minus 4ac, that is actually going to tell us how many solutions there are for x, okay? If the b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0, there is going to be 2 solutions. This is because when you complete the equation, you actually have to complete it twice, once with a positive here and once with a negative. If b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0, then there's going to be a number square rooted, which is either added or subtracted to minus b here, okay? So that's going to give us 2 solutions. Next, we're going to look at if b squared minus 4ac in here is equal to 0, there is going to be 1 solution. I say this because if this is 0, it's effectively not there, so there's no need to do the equation twice, once adding and once subtracting, because this minus b is not going to change. Then lastly, if b squared minus 4ac is less than 0, so if it's a negative number, there is going to be no solutions for x, so that means we cannot factorize. Okay? I say this because if you get a negative number in here, we cannot take the square root of a negative number. We're now going to use this information and complete some examples. Okay, so we're now going to use the information that we have just learnt, which I've just summarized here, and figure out how many solutions each of these 3 equations have. Okay? I'm going to start with the first one on the left-hand side, x squared plus 5x minus 3 equals 0. So to make it nice and easy, I've popped the equation ax squared plus bx plus c underneath, and we're going to now substitute a as 1 because there is 1 in front of the x squared, and b as 5 and c as negative 3. Okay, I'm going to pop that into this equation and see if we get a number greater than 0, 0 or less than 0. So when we substitute in the equation, we will get 5 squared minus 4 multiplied by 1 multiplied by negative 3. So 5 squared is 25, minus 4 multiplied by 1 is 4, multiplied by negative 3 gives us positive 12. 25 plus 12 gives us 37. Okay, this is a positive number. What does a positive number mean? Yes, that means we have two different solutions. So that is our answer for the first question. Let's move on to the second equation. This one here, 2x squared minus 3x plus 4 equals 0. Once again, I'm going to pop the equation in underneath. So A refers to 2 in this case, B refers to minus 3, and C refers to positive 4. Now we substitute that into the equation, b squared minus 4ac. So when put into the equation, that gives us minus 3 squared minus 4 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 4. Minus 3 squared gives us positive 9. Then minus 4 multiplied by 2 is 8. 8 multiplied by 4 is, 8 multiplied by minus 4 gives us minus 32. Then 9 minus 32 gives us an answer of negative 23. Okay, negative number. It's less than 0. How many solutions are there? There is no solutions to this equation. Okay, I'm going to have a look at the last equation over here. X squared plus 6x plus 9. Once again, I'm going to add in the equation below, and that's going to mean that A is equal to 1, B is equal to positive 6, and C is equal to positive 9. We then substitute that into the equation here to give us 6 squared minus 4 multiplied by 1 multiplied by 9. That gives us an answer of 0 exactly. So, what happens when we get an answer of 0? How many solutions are there? There's 1. Okay, so now we've done some examples. I'm going to let you go and have a go at some questions. I would like you to stop this video in a minute once I give you directions. I would like you to turn to page 368, 5I, solving quadratic equations. I would like you to complete the first column of question 4, so part A, D, G and J. Once you've completed those, you can continue this video by pressing play, and we'll do some more examples, and then you can complete some more questions. So by now you should have done part of question 4. We're now going to move on to some more complex ideas. We're going to use this quadratic formula that I showed you earlier in the lesson, and we're actually going to use it this time. And we're going to use it on these two equations here. Firstly, I'm going to focus on the one on the left, that is x squared plus 5x plus 3 equals 0. Let's first reference what A, B and C are equal to. So, by now you should be able to determine A is equal to 1, B is going to be equal to positive 5, and C is going to be equal to positive 3. So I've just labelled them here on the next line so we don't forget. I'm now going to substitute them into the quadratic formula so we can find out what x equals. I've now substituted it in, and it looks quite messy, but it's not too bad. So minus b is 5, plus or minus, sorry about that sign, I couldn't find a proper plus or minus sign like up here. Then we have square root of 5 squared minus 4 times 1 times 3 over 2 multiplied by 1. When we simplify that, we have minus 5 plus or minus the square root of 25 minus 12, all divided by 2, which can simplify again to minus 5x plus or minus the square root of 13 over 2. Okay, there is a positive number in here, so how many solutions are there? There are 2. Okay, so we're going to do this first by using addition to get our first solution, then we're going to do it again with subtraction to get our second solution. So our two solutions for x should be x equals minus 5 plus square root of 13 all divided by 2. and x equals minus 5 minus the square root of 13 all over 2. Okay, so that's our answer to the first question. Now let's move on to the second one. 2x squared minus 2x minus 1 equals 0. Okay, so let's have a look. We should have A is equal to 2, B is equal to minus 2, and C is equal to 1. So just for your reference, I've popped in what A, B, and C equal just below. Now we're going to substitute that into the formula, the quadratic formula here, just like we did in the last question. When substituted in, we should get minus 2 plus minus square root of 2 minus 4 multiplied by 2 multiplied by negative 1 all over 2 times 2. Okay, I'm going to simplify this. I'm going to fix up the negatives here and also here. When simplified, we can get x is equal to 2 plus or minus square root of 4 plus 8 all over 4. We can then simplify the 4 and 8 again, so x is equal to x is equal to 2 plus or minus 12 all over 4. Okay, we can see that the number inside the square root is positive, so it's greater than 0. So how many solutions are there going to be? There's going to be 2. To finish off this question, let's find them. The two answers here are x equals 2 plus the square root of 12 all over 4, and x equals 2 minus the square root of 12 all over 4. Okay, now we've had a look at some more complex examples. I would like you to have a go at question 5, the first column, question 6, the first column, and also question 8, the first column. If you have any questions, please let me know, or if you finish, please let me know. I'm more than happy to help. Thanks, guys. I hope you've enjoyed watching this tutorial and it's been somewhat helpful.